Welcome to Statistics with Mr. Q. Chapter 1, Lesson 1, Example 1. So, you've already taken some notes on your vocabulary. This is the vocabulary for 1.1. You can always pause the video and take a few more notes if you need. But we wanted to look at Example 1 first. So, Example 1, Toby Titus is trying to sell some of his old comic books so he can buy a car. Here are the prices of what he saw on BidBay. So we have a whole bunch of made-up comic book titles and their prices. Find the three measures of center for Toby's dataset of comic book prices. So we need to find three measures of center. Again, that's going to be our mean, median, and mode. In order to find the mean, we're going to have to add all of these numbers together and then divide by the 8 that we've got. To find the median, though, we need to find the middlemost number with an even number. That's going to take a little bit of calculation. 8 is an even number. We also need to put all of the numbers in order, so we'll take a look at that in a moment. And then, which measure of central tendency do you think is going to be best? Part B. Does anything stand out or look different? If so, describe it. That will help us answer Part C. So the first thing is to put all the numbers in order, and actually, real first thing is to get some paper where you can take your notes. Remember, when you are copying a problem, especially a word problem, into your notes, you do not need to copy every single word, or maybe not even necessarily every single number. It might help. We'll see. But to find the mean for part A, let's set up the mean is going to equal our $6.15 plus our $22.87. This also gives us a chance to look through the numbers. That $22.87 looks a little bit weird, a little bit bigger than some of the other numbers that I see. Plus $8.75, plus $5.99, plus $7.08, plus $9.10, plus $8.65, plus $8.25, all over 8. So double check, make sure you copied all the numbers correctly. I personally sometimes put my last two digits, especially the cents, backwards sometimes. So just look over it one more time. I also now have a list of all of the numbers that are going to be used. So I don't necessarily need to spend more time recopying them in another list. Now we're going to use the calculator to get the total. Plus 2287 plus 875 plus 5.99 plus 7.08 plus 9.10 plus 8.65 plus 8.25. So our total was 7684. And if we divide that by 8, then we get our average mean price of 9.61. Remember, money always rounds to 2 decimal places, and actually usually rounds up, no matter what the rules say, but only because we're trying to not owe somebody a fraction of a cent. So that's one of our three measures of center. Our mean value is $9.61. But remember, we also kind of said that 2287 looks a little bit weird, so it might be worth our time to examine the other two measures of center, the median and the mode. So we could hunt through here and find the smallest number, which is 5.99, then our 615. Maybe check them off as you go. Next lowest would be in the 7 range. Then we have a few 8s. Just listing them. 9 and 10. And then finally our 2287. And again, that 2287 is twice as big as the next biggest number. So that kind of stands out a little bit. So that's getting ready for part B. Our median, again, is the middlemost number, but we have 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4 from the middle, and 1, 2, 3, 4 from the middle means that the actual middle is somewhere in between those two values. So we need to take their average, or their mean, to find the median. If there's only one number in the center, then you just pick that number and you're good. And it looks like our median value, our middlemost value, is about $8.45. And finally, the mode, which one number shows up more often than all of the others. None of them. They all show up once, so there is no mode. And that's part A. Again, part B, we've already been talking about. The $22.87 looks weird because it is an outlier. It is over twice as big as the next biggest number. And that helps us determine which is the best measure of center. So the best measure of center depends on how many outliers you have. If you have any outliers, then the median tends to be the best. If you have no outliers, the mean, the average, tends to be the best. And if they ask for the most popular or most common, then the mode is the best, but that doesn't show up very often. So because we do have an outlier, because 2287 is way bigger than the next number, we have an outlier, so the median is best. And again, that's because we have an outlier. What does that mean for Toby? Well, it means that Toby Titus, his average comic book price, or his most expected, not his average, his most expected comic book price. That's what the best measure of center measures. Is going to be $8.45, or nearby that. And that's example 1.